and you hear a sound, you hear some kind of a sound, like what kind of a sound, then which means that you are very intelligent. How many of you can get that? Did anyone hear a sound? Suppose there are two conditions. One is that both your fingers should touch without any external force. And two is that if you come like round like this and bring it here near your ear and you hear a sound of a fart, then which means that you are intelligent. So all of us are here? Hello? So do I have any intelligent person around? Yeah? If there is, I am very scared because I am not. And if there are no, then I am quite happy with this. Yes?
You said that if you can do this, then you are intelligent.
Yes.
Does that mean that if you can't do it, you are not intelligent?
Now, that is a different thing. Anyway, so let me introduce myself. I believe all of us are here. So, my name is Vagish Jha. I have come from Delhi, and my age is 7.5 years. Why are you laughing? Why? I mean, why is your age whatever it is? Is that a question?
You were born on 29th February.
No, but that is not, I never told you about my date of birth. I am only telling you that my age is 7.5 years. You don't believe this? No? And maybe. No. My grey hair, it started graying from the age of 2. What about if I kind of produce the evidence for it? See, I have come from Delhi. I don't know the whole lot of you all. So I'm just trying to understand what are the terms of conditions that we all agree to. So if I suppose that I present an evidence for my age being 7.5, will you agree? Will you accept?
Yes.
Okay. So which means that let's say that I am talking to some people who will believe only when some evidence is produced. Right? You are not bothered about what kind of evidence I bring it to you? No. No? Any evidence will do. So, Tara, will you write a small testimonial for me telling that my age is 7.5 and we will put a stamp out there, they need an evidence for that.
But I don't believe that you said.
I will do that for you.
Yeah. So, suppose that, yes, you are so grateful.
And they here.
I am so grateful to you that you have agreed to give me an evidence.
Yeah.
So Mo is going to write an evidence in some 10-15 minutes, and that I will produce before you that I am 7.5 years old, and you already agree.
But the evidence should be something that we can believe you.
You can?
We can believe in you. The evidence should be something like
How will
that.
you believe in an evidence? That is what I want to know from you. So it has to be reliable. Do you want to say that?
Yes.
Okay. And what is a reliable evidence? How will you say that this is a reliable evidence? Okay, we will go into that. So evidence is there and it has to be reliable. We will try to find out what is a reliable evidence. But I just want to set up some ground rules. There is only one. So for the time being, you have agreed that if I produce before you the evidence of my being 7.5 years, you will agree. You will accept that because we have agreed that we believe X to be true only when evidence is produced or is there, and that evidence has to be reliable. Right? Okay. Now, there is only one problem. Sometimes I speak a lie. So, 60 years ago, when I was a child,
7.5 years old. You said you told that you were 7.5 years old. So you said that
my age is 7.5 and 60 years ago I was a child. But you find these two statements contradictory, not agreeing with each other? Yes. So you don't believe anything that is contradictory to each other. That two data that is there, like one data is that I said that my age is 7.5. The other data is that I am telling you that 60 years ago when I was a child. These two data do not agree, and therefore you are not believing. I am just trying to understand the ground rules that I am following with you all. So the second rule is that the second rule is that we no contradiction in the evidences, or can I say claims. I am writing they must agree. Okay, but anyway, for the time being, believe that 60 years ago when I was a child, my name was actually Surprise Damle. And that is why this session is called Surprise. Is that a surprise for you? There is one rule that I want all of you to follow from my side. Let's not complicate the matters, otherwise our relationship will kind of gets entangled. So these two rules, we will believe X only when there is an evidence that is provided. Evidence has to be reliable. Two is that two statements that we make or two claims that we present, they must agree to each other. There cannot be contradictory evidences. Is that okay? Okay. There is one rule that I want to tell you from my side. Since I am a guest, I have come from Delhi, I hope that you will agree with it. No responses to questions must come from a pair. No individual response admissible. Anybody, if you have to answer to a question that I pose to you, that the answer to that question must come by at least two of you talking to each other. No individual answer will be admissible. So or three of you. It could be two of you, it could be three of you. So quickly, I'll give you 30 seconds or 40 seconds. You talk to each other and then you raise your hands in unison. I will not accept one hand going up. I will only accept when two or three hands are going up or two hands are going up together. So I mean that, okay, here is a valid intervention that is going to be made. Okay? Is that okay? Is that acceptable?
Yes, sir.
No problems, no?
No.
Okay. Now, I love history.
Yes.
I am very, very in deep love, head over heels when it comes to history. Why? It's because there's a lot of story in it.
Yes.
History is high story. No? How many of you are there who hate history? Be honest. I know, almost half of you kind of hate history, right? And you know why? Because you did not get the teacher that I got. And I will tell you some story that is written in the textbook. You find those stories to be boring, but my teacher used to give me very interesting stories. So, how many of you watch Jodha Akbar? You know the serial called Jodha Akbar? Yes. Yeah? Is there anyone who watches that? Anyway, but you know about that Jodha Bai was the wife of Akbar. Yes? And since you believe, I believe that you must be believing this because you have an evidence for that.
Yes. Sure.
Yeah? Let's believe it, that you have an evidence that Akbar was a ruler and Jodha Bai was her wife. What you will not know is that how Akbar fell in love with Jodha Bai. And I am going to tell you that love story today. The love story is very simple. And that is what my teacher told me. Teachers are always right. They do not lie. So my teacher told me that there was a TV program during those days, Aao Dance Kare. The name of that program was Aao Dance Kare, and Jodha Bai was a very skilled dancer. Those of you who have seen that serial must have seen how beautifully she dances, right? So Akbar happened to see Jodha Bai in Aao Dance Kare dance competition, and since he was a king, he wrote for it. Get Jodha Bai to me. And Jodha Bai came and he saw Akbar and he was a king, so she said that, okay, no problem, I have to get married somewhere. If king is begging, I must take it. Is that, I loved that story from my story teacher, and I hope that you also believe that this is true. No. This is not true? No. But look, I will go by the ground rules that we have set for ourselves. Let me ask you that, you see, I am very sentimentally attached to my teacher. My teacher told me, I never disbelieve. Teachers are never wrong, just as textbooks are never wrong. So, if you are so kind of convinced that this was wrong, you will have to convince me. And how will I get convinced? We are a community, we have agreed on these 3 principles. You have to convince me by presenting me an evidence. Your reasons, argument, why you think that this statement or my teacher was not right. And this rule has to be, now that is disallowed. Because individual interventions are not allowed. So you have 30 seconds to talk to each other and give me evidence for that particular thing being wrong. What are the reasons that you think this is wrong? That is disallowed. If you have to raise your hands, दोनों साथ ही हाथ मिला के ऐसा, हाँ, okay. So this is 1. हाथ पकड़ के ऐसे जाना होगा. हाँ, 2 and 3. Okay. 4. That's all. Now I will see if others are also there, but the first one came here. So your reasons. Tell me. Please listen to everybody. Once somebody starts talking, then you should not be talking, because if that happens, then when you will be talking, others will be talking. That is not a good thing to happen. Yes.
There was no TV that time.
Just get up and tell me. That time means Akbar's time. Is that your argument? Great. The part 2, who was the 2-1? Second one, yes. The second, who was that?
Jodha was a princess.
Jodha was a princess. So?
She was a dancer. She was not a dancer.
So those who are princesses are non-dancers. I want to understand.
They dance, but they weren't.
Just a minute. When somebody is speaking, nobody is speaking. That is also, should I write the 4th rule? Please accept with this rule intuitively. Yes.
They weren't participating in these competitions.
Okay, so you have no objection to TV, but you have objection to her being a princess, and princesses don't participate in dance.
They participate, but
Not in such competition.
Not in such competition. Like like Bajirao Mastani's film coming now, and you are all familiar with that. So Priyanka Chopra and Deepika Padukone are dancing together. What is the problem? Both are the princesses. They are dancing so elegantly. No, I mean, can you formulate your objection properly? Like, what do you say? You जो बोलोगी मैं लिख दूँगा बस. बोलो.
You know the princess, she didn't dance for the king. For entertaining. For entertaining the people, or for the king.
So now that you have kind of refined it, that she may be dancing on her own, but she would not dance for such entertainment programs. You have no problem with the TV as such, but then you think that even if TV was there, she would not go for, what was the program that I said? Does anyone remember? Huh? How dance kare. So she will not come for the dance program. Third one, what was the third group? Honestly, yes. हाँ. अकेला कोई भी हाथ उठेगा, that is disallowed. So अभी रुक जा. Sorry?
Even if we believe that there was TV and the princess liked to dance in such competitions, Akbar was a great king. He had many washrooms, not just sit on his couch and watch TV programs. He had
But listen. If Akbar had no time to watch those programs, and the other friend says that he used to watch now and then. So in that now and then, our dance kare must have come. Huh? He had wars now and then. And when you have wars now and then, you don't see TV. You don't have time to see TV. So you have no objection to TV, but Akbar had no time.
Even if we believe your teachers think that there was TV that time, there was a show, but why would Akbar be
So the kings do not see television. Is that your claim? The emperors don't see television. Sorry?
Kings do wars, right?
Kings do wars, they don't see television. Is that your proposition? Okay.
Yeah, other means of entertainment.
There are other means of entertainment. So they were interested in other means of entertainment, not TV. Is that what you are saying? So kings are not interested in TV. Kings don't watch. Okay. So kings don't. तीसरा चौथा ग्रुप. अच्छा हाँ वो पीछे बोलो. No.
What is the evidence that you are 7.5 years?
Leave that aside. Now we have moved ahead of that.
You said that the evidence is written by that sir.
Yes.
Then there are many history books which says that Jodha and Akbar means the love story is not like that at all. So we have more evidence than your evidence. So we are confused.
Oh, you have more evidence. So number of evidence is more with you, and I have only one evidence. So therefore you are correct. So suppose that all of the people who are sitting here, they and I try to argue with you and I try to convince you that, do you think that Earth is moving? Yeah? And do you know the speed by which Earth is moving? The speed of rotation? The speed of rotation of Earth is higher than the speed of an aeroplane. It's almost like a rocket. Somebody who is on the internet can give me the how many kilometers per hour that it is rotating. Do you believe that? I want to tell you that it does not. This is all botched up story. Will you believe, and then all of you agree, suppose for the time being that I give you arguments, I tell you, and I convince you. Many of you say something, will that become right? Then he is saying that I have more number of evidences and you have only one evidence, your teacher. Therefore, so more evidence is correct. So more evidence is likely to be correct. That is your idea. Okay. single hands are not admissible. Well, unless they are coming in unison, they are not admissible. हाँ, हाथ दोनों हाथ पकड़ के मिलाओगे तब बात बनेगी. यहाँ single hand is not. हाँ, so there.
At first time there was rivalry among the Rajputs and the Mughals.
हाँ.
And Jodha was a Rajput princess, so she wouldn't agree to go to Akbar's palace.
So this story itself is wrong. Jodha Akbar were not husband and wife. These such fundamental problems I'm not able to deal with. You all are going like, I don't know what my teacher has done to you. You are hell-bent upon proving him wrong, but I have to stop at this. Or two. Last two. Yes, quick.
First of all,
You tell me on all this. Do you agree there was TV there?
no.
So you are also saying that this is your argument. There was no TV. Okay. Two. Is there anything else that you want to say?
Yeah.
What is that?
Akbar saw Jodha while he was visiting the Jodha's father's area.
Acha, what were you doing?
Uh,
What were you doing there? Huh? You were not born at that time. So how do you know this? Huh?
I was taught.
You were taught? It is written in the history book. So whatever is written in the history book is correct. Shall I write that? Now, does this violate the principle that we have agreed upon, that it has to have an evidence? You are not believing a simple fact that I am 7.5 years old. You are asking me to produce evidence. When I said that there is an evidence coming from Mr. Mohanan, he said that no, that evidence is not admissible because he has more evidence than less evidence. And now you are telling me that the textbook, whatever is written in the textbook, you are going to believe that. Is that violating the principle one? Think about that. Last book. Yes.
Can you please convince us there was a program called Aao Dance Kare? Then we can go forward, right?
No. You can't put the onus on me. That is not correct. I will once again ask you, do you think there was a TV at that time? So, kind of, this comes to be the central thing that, main objection that you have. Okay? Alright. So, let me remove the other ones. Sit down, thank you. Let me remove the other ones and let us concentrate on this. Since this was an issue of the principle of evidence, I am going to now quickly ask you to think about it seriously. As I told you, this was told by my teacher. Just as textbook is so sacrosanct for you, for me the words of teacher is so important to me. And this is a matter of deep faith that I have. And you are telling me something, and I am committed to this. If you showed me the evidence, I will have to believe this because I have agreed to this principle. So, if we have to prove that there was no TV at that time, what is the argument? What are the evidence that you are going to present before me? Talk to each other, raise hands in unison, 30 seconds. What is the evidence to prove this, that there was no TV at that time? How will you convince somebody like me that my teacher was wrong? Okay. 1, 2, 3. ठीक है, नंबर याद रखना 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? Same people are coming up. Should I say that कुछ नए लोगों को से शुरू करते हैं. इन दोनों ने पहले नहीं बोला, इन दोनों ने पहले नहीं बोला. So ऐसा नहीं कि you are giving all the answers, so therefore it is something wrong. But others also should get a chance. So let me begin with this group. Yes.
Basically, there was no electricity at that time.
Okay. No electricity. So what is the reasoning? That no electricity. No electricity, so no TV. Is that no electricity? No TV.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay, fine. What was the group 2? Idhar. Haan.
The TV was invented much later after Akbar.
Okay. But you are supposed to be giving me the proof. How would you tell that? Both. You ask, please. You have to give me the evidence that there was no electricity, or you don't have to give me evidence, but think about it, that if you have to prove to me that there was no electricity, what all you will have to find out. 8 minutes. You tell me that TV was not invented during Akbar. You are telling me this. Now, this is the question that I am asking you. And I am not asking this question. There was no TV at that time. And you say, why there was no TV at that time? Because TV was not invented at that time. What you are supposed to do is to come up with evidence. You have to convince me that, okay, TV was not, you have to tell me that when, say for example, that if you say that TV came into existence in the middle of the 19th century, and Akbar was somebody who was living in 15th century, therefore this argument is wrong. Now, TV was invented in 19th century, you will have to come up with some strategy that will prove that, okay, these are the arguments on the basis of which I can say that TV existed at that time. Think about it quickly and you have to come back. Yes, that group which has not said anything, I will come back to the groups which have said. Yes. Jaldi bolo.
The inventor was not born only in that century.
Sorry?
The inventor was not there at that time.
And that much technology was not developed.
Any other? No, I don't know. How do you say that? I am asking you for the evidence. You see, you are coming up with statements, and the statements are not evidence. You agree with me? If you are coming up with statements that the inventor was not born, how do I believe you? I will not believe anything unless you are, or at least telling me that, okay, I can tell you that, like this group said, that television was not invented at that time. If this group tells me that the evidence can be found in newspapers, evidence can be found that, like Mohanan is writing an evidence for me, so that is an evidence. Is that an evidence? And then the question, crucial question was that the evidence should be reliable. What are the kind of evidences that we are going to look for? You have to tell me that. Okay, you are not going to tell me the argument as such. You tell me the evidence.
If we research, we can see that it was not so much developed and there was not much technology at that time. We have to be very sharp in telling me development and technology. So these are all relative terms, no? 50 years ago was much more developed than 150 years ago. So it was not much developed is a very general statement. That will not help us. We have to be very sharp in telling this teacher wala group, and then I will come. Yes.
They use oil lamps back then. The evidence of electricity.
Okay.
If there would be electricity, they would use it. When there was no electricity, so there was no electricity.
So she says that they used oil lamps at that time. Had there been electricity at that time, they would have been using electricity, not oil lamps. Now, do you think that there are people in the country today who are still using oil lamps? If I show you, I'm just trying to bring this to you, that this argument, that if somebody comes and shows you that there was oil lamp, and therefore will you conclude that there is no electricity?
No, but kings can afford electricity, and there are people who cannot, so they use oil lamps.
Okay. Fine. Last two groups, those who were raised. Okay, let me go there. Yes.
That time the kings
At that time, for entertainment, there were dancers and singers, and if there was TV, then there was no need of dancers and the singers to sing for TV.
No, I'm sorry, I did not get the argument.
For the entertainment of the king, there were dancers and singers, and if there was TV, then there was no need of the dancers and all that.
I am still not getting. There were in King's Court. There were people who were dancing. How does that prove that there was no TV?
The dancers were for entertainment, and TV is also for entertainment. So if there was no TV, then
So once TV comes, then other forms of entertainment vanish? No? So two different forms of entertainments can coexist, no? Do you agree with me? Okay. Last, the group of 3 people that are there. Bolo.
First of all, most of the time there was no electricity then, and just for we can just make a TV and just we need satellites for it is just not we need satellites for the picture receiving the pictures, right? So there were no satellites, and we can get it Aksara as well.
So basically you are giving this argument, the same argument about the electricity, satellite. There has to be a certain degree of development for television to exist. So the line of argument is this, that if there is no electricity, TV does not run without electricity. I believe somebody can come up and tell you that TV runs on the battery as well. Okay, so he adds another point to this, that TV may run on battery, but in order to get the baat mat kariye, please don't talk in between, then I get distracted. Either if there is something very interesting that everybody should know. What is that interesting thing? Can you share? No? Yeah? You were talking in between. Is there something compelling that you want to? Bardasht nahi hota hai. Get up.
Sir, a TV can't run for much time on the battery.
So what? This was only half an hour program. So now I have just 10 minutes left in the end. So let me kind of bring this to why this did not occur to you. That what do you think? When do you think TV came?
19th century.
19th century.
20th century.
Huh? 20th century. Oh, now there is a problem in century itself. Some people believe that there is 19th century, some people believe in 20th century. Why don't we, say for example, ask our teacher, when do you think, ma'am, TV? 20th century. Can you give some more approximation?
1934, John and Baird in Germany invented the first television.
1934. Look at that. That is why I tell you, you must believe teachers. She not only told us about the year, she told us the name of the inventor. Yeah? So you could have asked your teacher, and she could have said that I am not interested right now in the name, but 1934, and I, for the time being, since I believe in teachers, so for me, her oral testimony is an evidence. What she gave to me is that she orally told me. I can go back and find out many such people who were born in the pre-TV era. It's not too far away, right? People are alive who would have been born in 1934. They would be 90 years old. There are many 100-year-old people. So we can find out such people who can give us this, and that becomes the oral evidence. Now, there are problems in the oral evidence.
Was she born?
Who?
Was she born before 1934?
Sorry.
Was she born before 1934?
No. She was not born. Now, she was not born before 1934, but that still counts to be an oral testimony. She might have read it somewhere, and she is telling you it's not probably her experience, but it is her knowledge. Somebody is telling you that. We don't believe that. We will have to find out some more evidence for this, that what madam is saying is correct, but we can go and find out about many things from the people, and this technique is called the oral evidence. This is one kind of evidence that we can go that. We will not go into the details of that oral evidence. Okay? What could be the other kind of evidences? Written evidences. So when TV would have come, there would have been some kind of a news that would have made, some newspapers would have reported. So some TV reports would have come. So plus some media report would have come. Then something else, wherever the TV would have been invented, whichever place, lab, or any such place, yes?
Maybe that who has invented TV, he has made his patent that he has only.
He has made it patent. So the patent issue is that we get the patent document and we try to look for it. Now, what are we coming to right now here? And let me, yes?
There were no patents in the 16th century.
There were no patents in 16th century. That creates problem. But there could be other documents. There may be no patent, but there could be other documents to prove, not inscriptions. I mean, probably, could be inscriptions also. The father would have felt so happy that my son has invented TV, that he would have got it engraved in a copper plate and written that my son X and X has invented TV, and so that the students of Pune will come and excavate that and read about that. So that could have been there. So now I want you to draw your attention to this. One is that, as Mohanan also pointed out, and that madam was not born in 34, but she gave you one information that this was in 34. So this is one data that we have got, but our principle that we have agreed is that the evidence is there, but how reliable is it? Is it reliable enough? Then we are adding, what we are trying to do, we are adding media report. We are trying to find out some more evidence. That media report comes, then patent, or he says there is no patent, but some research document could be there. There can be a whole list of inventory that we can make, but right now I am not making. I am trying to bring this issue, that more evidence versus less evidence. This point that was presented earlier by someone, that it is here, what is happening is that we are not looking at the number of evidences, how many evidences are there. What we are trying to do is, we are trying to verify the reliability of the evidences coming from different independent sources. So what we are doing is that this process is called this corroborative evidence. The corroborative evidence is that when we get convergence of evidences. I got this information from madam that it was 1934. Then I looked for other evidence from the media report or something like that. We looked for, that is an independent source. It has to be independent source. Then we looked for some research paper, or if patent was there or not there. We are not arguing on that. And we looked for some other resources. 3, 4 independent, as many independent sources converge to tell you the same thing. That much the reliability of that evidence grows. It is likely to be more true. You get my point? So it is something like this. A friend of yours comes and tells you that he has been bad-mouthing about you. You don't believe it because he has been your friend. But 2 days later, somebody else comes and he also tells me that he has been bad-mouthing about you. You kind of ignore second time. But there are 3, 4 people come in the next 3, 4 days and they tell you the same thing. Then you tend to believe. What is that? That there are independent sources. Okay. There are independent sources that are coming together and that are pointing to this evidence. And thus, the more evidence, independent evidences are coming together, that are likely to be more true. This is the corroborative evidence. This is what statisticians do. Yes.
There were a lot of inventions and theories that have been discovered by scientists. At that time, a lot of the people had contradicted against those things, but they had been proved wrong by only a single independent source. A lot of people have been proved wrong by single independent source.
If that single independent source is that reliable, then it is possible. Like, can you give me one example of such single evidence? I mean, I have those examples, but I want to know where are you coming from?
Like maybe when they had formulated the Big Bang theory or something. A lot of people had contradicted against it, but there were a small number of supporters who were arguing against that, and they were actually correct when we researched it in this area.
So Big Bang was proved. Supposedly. Oh, okay. Like there is kind of final convincing evidence. Yes.
So in a brief history of time written by Stephen Hawking,
Yes.
he have contradicted many statements by Newton and many of the greatest scientists.
Yes. So
So
has he given evidence?
yes, he has.
He has given evidence, and you are convinced about the reliability of that evidence. Okay. You last. I have to wrap up. 2 minutes. I have.
Sir, I want to also give one example about one evidence speaking like some contradiction. Like earlier in ancient times, people believed that the Earth was in the center and the other planets revolved around it. But because of just one, means only one someone was there, who believed that Earth was, Sun is in the middle and Earth revolved around it.
I don't know if Sir is going to talk about Earth and Sun, but let me give you one final example of just one evidence being correct. And I hit this on her head. Or will you believe that this is solid? Do I produce an evidence? Okay. So this is presented in front of you. I can hit her on the head or you, and this will be. This is one evidence right in front of you, and you see, and this is eyewitness. I mean, you can say that yes, I had this thing in my hand. So there can be cases where one evidence is enough, but then when you are looking at the complex, when you want to explain some more things into it, then you will require some more evidence. So what we have seen is that we have to have the reliability of evidence increases when we have a number of more evidences coming from the independent sources. Now I stop here asking you, 3 of you, quickly to tell me what did you think what was I talking about? What was your learning? Any 3 of you. Say individual now. Yes.
When we read something, we believe it. We believe in it instantly. Means we have to search about it in other ways, in other areas, and then if it is correct, we can believe it.
1. Yes.
It is not like if anyone tells us anything, we can't believe it. Like you gave an example that if he is telling bad about somebody, so if 1 or 2 person come and tell to him, he cannot believe. So he needs evidence.
Very good. 1 more last. तुम तो बोल चुका है. सब एक बार ऐसा आदमी बोलो कोई जो अभी तक बोला नहीं है. Who is somebody who has not spoken? Should I identify or you will identify yourself? अभी तक जो नहीं बोला उनमें से कोई एक हाथ उठाएगा. Okay. So the last person, you look like me when I was your age. Yes. Tell me.
Means this is an argument, and if we go forward, I can say that there is no TV and all, but can you prove that there was TV?
He is putting the onus on me and asking me, can you prove that there was TV? Okay. Now, I will talk to you अकेले में. इससे ऐसे don't ask such questions सीधे. Last question from my side. No questions from your side. Last question from my side. Was I dealing with history? No. Okay. So what was that I was doing? I was talking of Akbar. I was talking of Jodha Bai. I was talking of. What was I doing?
You are telling us that reliable evidence is necessary for us to believe.
Last, let me tell you that this is how historians work. This is how historians look for the evidence, and what I was trying to do is to give you an idea about the historical evidence. Okay. How many of you hate history? Taught this way? Difficult. Thank you very much. So there is tea kept outside. जल्दी से निकलो, आराम से, no commotion. Go quietly, pick up your things and be back here. You should be seated here 1 minute.